Hey everybody, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz, and this is a new episode of The Next Level, in which I have a guest co-host, and together we talk about the interview of the week and kind of suss out a few of the highlights and talk about them in ways that you can use to bring your own business to the next level. And before I introduce today's guest co-host, I want to first mention last week's interview, if you happen to miss it, was about Jeanette Tavares and Jody Marraro of Evoke Design and Creative, an event planning and production company out of Washington, D.C., who became business partners when one bought out the other. And I had Robert Sherman, president of Washington Talent and my own business partner of Kushner Entertainment, as my guest co-host. There was some similar stuff with Evoke, and so we wanted to discuss that together. And today's guest co-host, without any further ado, is a great friend of mine who was also on the show, wonderful photographer out of New York City, Andre Maier. Hey, Andre.
Hey, Andy. I'm so happy to be here. This is going to be exciting. And I'm super happy that Sonal is the one we get to talk about because I love her. And the interview was amazing, actually, with her. So I'm excited.
Oh, good. Yeah, I am too. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. And I want to urge everyone to go check out the interview of Andre. He's actually based in New York City and Los Angeles. He works worldwide. Incredible photographer and a great guy, Andre.
Thank you.
So yeah, the person we are speaking about is Sonal Shah. She specializes in South Asian weddings and events, particularly weddings. She's based out of New York City, and she plans elaborate, over-the-top South Asian weddings around the world. She works with Hollywood stars, Bollywood celebrities. She also has a book out that she put out several years ago called The Complete Guide to Planning the Perfect South Asian Wedding. And so, Andre, in terms of what came up in the interview, I know that both of us resonated before we hit the record button with how she just basically, as you said it, leapt into a job that at the time didn't exist. Talk about courage.
I loved that. And I feel so many of us have done that. But she really takes it to a whole other level where she started something. There wasn't even a wedding planner, let alone a South Asian wedding planner. And she just took all her faith and all her money on top of that because she talked about how she spent like a lot of her savings on something
that's right,
didn't even exist. So imagine the courage that it is. And it's really, she just leapt into like a deep unknown. And it's kind of like, I think there's a saying, it's like leap and the net will appear. And I think that's really exactly what happened with her. She just went all the way. She went all out. And she said it took her like 2 or 3 years. So she didn't it definitely was a big chance she took, and it clearly paid off beautifully. And I feel that a lot of other vendors and industry people, so many of us have done it and have to do it. And that's what it is, I think, when you find a passion and you just go for it. And she did it beautifully.
I agree. And I love that saying. I use that all the time. I add a phrase, the cliff. I say, leap off the cliff and trust that the net will appear.
There you go. That's it.
Because it feels like, and I've done that so many times, I can't even count. I mean, it's like I live from, I guess I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, or I like the word adventure junkie. And leaping off that cliff and just trusting it's going to appear. But, it's almost more than that. It's like we make it appear. Don't you think?
You make it appear. And I think that's it. There is actually a really beautiful poem by W.H. Auden called Leap Before You Look, it's called. And that's exactly the line. You can look if you want, but first you'll have to leap. That's his referring line. And that's, I think, exactly what she did amazingly well.
Yeah. And, for some reason, I don't know that it's exactly related, but I think about, this something similar with opportunity. It's like, there's a saying something about when the door opens, walk through it. But then I say that we're creating those opportunities. But we just might not be aware that we're creating it.
I think especially Sonal, she really just created her own doors. She did.
There you go.
Took a wall and smacked a hole into it and built a door, and she walked through it. And she's still doing it. I think she really created doors where there weren't any, or where people didn't know they needed a door, or there was anything on the other side. And that's exactly how it should be, I think.
And so I would encourage people listening, I mean, I know a lot of us in the industry have that, but those of us that are a little unsure, I think you really, when you're an entrepreneur, especially in a creative field, there's creative ways of approaching business too. So I love that you said that, it's something else that I thought was really funny, but was really serious behind it, was how she said that in her contracts with her clients, she has a line item that says that she also handles mediation between the bridal couple and the parents.
That's really funny. Yeah.
I thought that was great. And so she's basically, her point is that she's advocating for the couple. And I think we get caught. I mean, Andre, I'm sure you've been caught in the middle between sometimes the bride's parents.
Many times. I actually thought this is something I should really add to my contract too, in like some maybe different words, but I feel, we all do it. But I love that she puts that in there. And like you said, I really like that her focus and her all her energy is really for the couple themselves. And the mediation is really on behalf of the couple, even when it's the parents paying, which a lot of the times it is, but she's really on their side. And I feel, and I'm sure it comes through when couples talk with her, that they feel like Sonal has their back, and it's really their wedding, and she's making it happen. And the mediation is a big part. It's what we all do. I mean, I do it for me, it's just a very small part. I know Sonal does it like when she talks every day with them, but for me, it's maybe just for those family pictures when there's like conflict, but it's an important part of what we do. And I think almost every wedding planner or like wedding vendor has to deal with conflict. And I love that she puts it into the contract that she takes care of it. Like people feel safe with her. And I'm sure they do, because she knows what she's doing and she can handle it.
Well, and so many planners who I've interviewed talk about it, similarly, but a little bit different take on it, which is being a therapist, for these people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's something we can only learn with time. I mean, I remember when I was younger, sometimes, witnessing situations like that, I just kind of went with my gut. But at this point, after all these years, it's like I embrace that. I don't mind that role. We got to be very careful when we do it and how we do it. But I think sometimes it just becomes necessary.
It becomes necessary and it becomes a skill. And with time, you get it, where you know how to approach different people, where you respect all their desires, but, and still be on the side of your actual client, which hopefully is the bride and groom. And with Sonal, I really like the whole interview. For me, what came through is how she really cares about her clients. And that's how she started the business, I felt, right? She went to Indian weddings and she said, she says, I'm punctual. I don't like to wait. And like everything was like a shit show, basically. And she said, they need help, and that was like the whole starting point for her, and it comes through all the way to the very end with like how she picks her vendors, how she deals with them, how she mediates between her parents, and everything she talked about kind of boiled back down to she really cares for her clients, and we all have to, and I think that's what makes it successful, and you can't fake it. I think it has to be genuine, and that's what I think divides successful people from the okay ones, maybe.
I agree. No, it has to be genuine. And, this is also making me think of I might have told the story on the show before, but, in my music company, in the entertainment company, there was a situation one time, because I do this custom curating, I meet with the clients as much as possible. So I was meeting with the bride and the couple and the bride's parents, and there was so much tension between them. And I remember, Andre, that the bride's mother had called me like after the meeting, and she said she was kind of crying a little bit. She said, I don't know what to do. And my daughter is just so angry at me. And I'm skipping a piece here. Was that during the meeting, the mother was very, very controlling. And at that point, I was holding my tongue. I'm not the planner. I was holding my tongue. When the mother called me, because we connected really well, we bonded. She was sharing with me how her daughter is so angry with her and everything. And I said to her in very careful words, I said, well, your daughter, has a lot of her own ideas and her own vision. And, maybe you can just ask her how she feels, what she would like to see for her wedding. And it was such a basic suggestion, kind of obvious, but the mother needed to hear it. And she called me a few days later and said that she did that. She called her daughter, or she saw her daughter, and she said that, hey, honey, tell me tell me, what is your vision with this? And it went really well. They connected very well. And there's just so much tension involved in this kind of situation. Sometimes we have to be the ones to help them out.
We have to help them out, and we have to put perspective. And a lot of the times, even me just saying, don't worry, it's going to be fine.
Right.
Where you remind them that it's a wedding and it's super important, yes. But it's not life and death. It should be a joyful celebration. And even that, Sonal kind of hinted at that too, where she reminds the clients that you're supposed to have a blast here. Like you don't want to hear, I just wanted to get over with, because you're here to get married. You have to enjoy it. You have to be part of it. And sometimes just putting them back into that place and reminding them, you're here because you love each other. And this is something really beautiful you're planning or you're in on the day. I mean, Sonal deals with the planning, me and you, or you with the music, me with the photos. We're in it more on the day. But it's easy for people to forget that they're here for something really beautiful.
That's right.
It should be stressful. And it's just not so important if the napkins are the wrong shade of ivory or what.
Right.
If you can't get obsessed over crazy things once you've planned it all. That too. I love that she says balance for the bride and groom is so important for her.
Yes. No, that was, I agree. I think that was really important. Also earlier you were mentioning something about also the right fit with the vendors, and I like to call that creative partners. And Colin Cowie started that at an Engage. He was saying, look, everyone, these are not hot dog vendors. That's what a vendor is called. Let's call them creative partners. And so I've been trying to do that. But Sonal talked about how she can, she wants to make sure she can trust her creative partners.
Of course.
And, and in the position she's in, she has so many people coming after her. I mean, she loves finding new talent, but she wants to find new talent who understand the couple and the kind of weddings that Sonal is basically producing, right? And it has so much to do with personality and how they match and all of that.
And it's exactly that. I feel that's what makes a dream team. And there's a lot of different dream teams. And I think I agree with her and you that there's a different dream team for each client. And it's you can't work with the same people every time because it doesn't always match. And I have plenty of clients where I meet them before and then I think, this is probably not going to be enjoyable for any of us.
Wow.
If we work with each other. And it's rare. And I feel, we can all work with everybody. But there are some clients where you just feel we are perfect for each other. And I think that goes the same with all of us together, and for clients, there is just the right music and photographer and video and planner and venue and food and all of it is, and there isn't just, you can't have the same team for everybody and say it's going to be fantastic each time because it doesn't work that way. And like she said, it has to be unique for the clients. It has to be special and spectacular what they get, but also the personalities. And for me, that's almost more important than the work, because we're all good. We're all good at what we do at this point. But I think the personality is really important, where the clients understand their creative partners and we all understand each other and we're not stepping on each other's toes. And I can rely on the planner and the planner can rely on me, and we can all rely on the music and everybody on everybody. And that's really where it's at. And that's what makes it fun and enjoyable. And I feel that's why we can all keep going back. I mean, Sonal has been at it for 17 years. I think you've done it for a long time. I've been over 20 years.
Yes, very long.
So we've all done it for a long time and we're still enjoying it. So there's something we have to do to keep it interesting, and keep it.
Well, and that's a perfect lead in, because we were also talking about, you had brought up, Andre, before we started recording, how much Sonal combines her passion with her purpose.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Can you say more about that? I loved how you framed it.
That's exactly how I read it. And I told you earlier, I'm reading this book called Grit right now. And Sonal really exemplifies everything that this psychology professor from Yale talks about. And that's exactly the definition of grit. And being successful is combining purpose with passion. And I feel Sonal has both of it in abundance. And the purpose is really, you can see she started out from just wanting to help people and she still wants to do it. And she's so passionate about the details, about all the little things. She's so passionate about wanting to make sure that every wedding is totally different from every other wedding. I mean, imagine the amount of work that has to go into that. And just,
I can't imagine. Yeah.
Just the amount of thought and processing and figuring things out. How do I make this different again? Because she's going to the same venues over and over, or many of the same venues. And yet every time you see something she posts on Instagram, it's just totally different. And that's such a big skill.
Yeah, she said that she wants it to be everything. She never repeats anything, everything completely new.
Yeah. And I feel also with a purpose, like she talks about handling the budget. And then she says, like, you don't really, how often do you spend $100,000 on a weekend? And I know for her, $100,000, like her weddings, that's probably a budget wedding in her book.
That's low, yeah.
Very low. But the point she makes is really true. She's kind of the custodian of these huge sums of money it's not her money, but her clients' money. So you can see she feels responsible for giving them something worth their money, their investment. They're putting all this money into something. And I think Sonal is very aware that she has to deliver. And it's not just her, but through her vendors. And that's, again, where that whole connection of purpose, passion, vendor, creative partners, she said, where it all comes together. But she knows she has to give them something that makes this investment worth it. And I know she does. And I know her clients are just overjoyed every time. And that's where it's at.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And also you had mentioned, again, putting together passion with purpose. She is able to focus on herself, her business, her clients, her creative partners. Clearly, the center of it all are the couples. But I agree with you. I love how she's able to really give the attention to all of that. I'll tell you what, I don't know how she has time to do anything else.
No, it's
she
amazing.
Is dealing with so much. Yeah, I mean, we all could learn from her.
Right. And she's so professional. And actually, I found it really funny that she said, like, California was just too laid back for her. And I can totally see that.
That's funny.
Because she is business all the way. It is funny, and it's true. But like, she's totally unshakable in her professionalism. And like she says, she goes all out for the clients. She doesn't drink. She doesn't party at the wedding. She's not there to celebrate, like to party. She's there to work. And I love that. And that's kind of how I feel too. Like, clients ask me all the time, come have a few drinks with us. And I really don't, because I'm not there to drink with them. I have a drink with them like before, or like another day, maybe I meet with them. But at the wedding, that's not our job. Our job is to work.
Oh God, no! At the wedding. Oh, I thought you were saying, yeah. I can't do that.
Oh no! I'm not. And like exactly what she says. It's like, I'm not there to party, even though we may become friends. But that's not the day that's where we express our friendship differently at the wedding, because we're professional.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, that is all we have time for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. And to be sure to check out the site of Sonal Shah, which is sjsevents.com. Her social media handles are the same, SJS Events. And also, I want to thank you, Andre. Thank you so much for being a guest host.
Oh, thank you. I loved it. That was so fun.
Yeah, and Andre's website is andremaier.com. It's Andre, Maier.com. And your Instagram handle is Andre Maier Photo on Instagram. And on Facebook, I believe it's Andre Maier. All of this will be in the show notes at theweddingbiz.com. And I want to mention that next week's episode is going to be part 2 with celebrity photographer Jose Villa. So that's next week. Be sure to check in. And thanks for listening to The Wedding Biz.